had Booker T and the MGs and Otis Redding and Rufus Thomas and all these other people that had come out, and Sam and Dave and
Easy,
yeah, all in Memphis, and then people had came there to record. Elvis obviously lived there and recorded, but sometimes he recorded in Nashville, but he recorded his best album is like the album Within the Ghetto and Suspicious Minds and Kentucky Rain and all that. That was recorded at the American Recording Studio. All the hits of Neil Diamond were recorded there, and Dusty Springfield and Herbie Mann.
Herbie Mann is too good.
Yeah, Memphis Underground is the album by Herbie Mann.
Lovely album.
And it was on Memphis Underground that Reggie Young played guitar, and Larry Carlton came in. And Carlton heard Reggie Young and got a lot of his style from Reggie Young. But it's weird because Larry Carlton is very widely known. Reggie Young isn't known, but he's the behind-the-scenes man. I mean, he's been on like 600 records or something. And he helped me, too, because when I played with him with the Highland with Waylon Jennings and Johnny Cash and those guys, I gave Reggie Young a tape of some progressive music I was working on, just for him to listen to. I didn't ask him to give it to anybody else or anything. And he had listened to it and gave it to the president of Warner Brothers. And then the next couple of weeks later, the president of Warner Brothers called me and came in and asked me what I wanted to do. And that's how the Powers of 10 album came about. It was really because I just happened to get Reggie on the tape. He just happened to...
In that album, you played everything. Drums, keyboards.
I've been doing that since I was about 10, because when I was 10, we have band practice always at my house, because my grandmother was real, liberal about that. She likes rock and roll music. She's like rock and roll granny. She loves Leonard Skinner and everything. And I live with her now. She's about 83 years old. And but she's definitely rock and roll granny. It's funny because when I go on and later done like piano concertos and classical music and some Indian type music and other things, and progressed in all these different ways, but no, her favorite is still the old Southern rock, Leonard Skinner music, and Ray Charles. She loves Ray Charles. But so anyway, so she didn't mind, the loud practicing. So the bands always practiced at my house, and then the band members would always leave their gear at my house. So now I'm like, oh, there's a keyboard there. And so I would sneak and play the guy's keyboard, and I'd sneak and play the drums and everything. And that's literally how I learned how to play drums and keyboards. Because bass is pretty much like guitar, so it's not so hard to transition, and keyboards later I took up more seriously when I was like 18. I started playing. I played a lot of piano for a couple of years. I didn't touch guitar because I had just come off the road of 4 years from Black Oak, Arkansas, and I had just gotten married. I was 18, and I had a nice piano at home. I was just studying theory and studying composers, and didn't want to be on the road, and was burnt out, and just played piano a lot. So that's where the kind of main piano foundation comes. But especially the drums is all comes from, because I did the drums playing them with my fingertips on a keyboard on Powers of 10, but on Tritone Fascination I played the kit drums, and I can play kit drums pretty good. I'm pretty rudimentary. I can't play a whole lot of real fancy stuff, but I can play a good groove, good. And that was from when I was 10, 11, and the drummers were always leaving drums at my house, And then they'd find out that I would play the drums, and so then they'd take their sticks.
I'll say bye now.
Okay.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah, see you.
And then so they'd take their sticks where I couldn't play, and then I'd have a pair of sticks hid when I could get it, and I'd go in there and start practicing again. And,
you should hear that album, man. Powers of 10.
10 Fingers.
Amazing.
And the funny thing is the live album with the way the cover of the live Powers of Ten is what I would have originally done for the cover of Powers of Ten, but I suggested it to Warner Brothers and they thought it was too scientific, so they didn't do it. But I had the control on the Powers of Ten live, so I did the cover like I would have originally done it, which is using images that are all vary by a power of 10 from each other. You know, and the interesting thing about that is at like say 10 to the 0 power meters. You know, once you've set the baseline, say puts this person on a picnic blanket actually, and then when you go, then the next one is a power of 10 closer, and it's the hand. And then the next one is closer, and it's in the blood cell. And then the next one is closer by so many powers of 10, and you're in the nucleus of the DNA. And then more powers of 10, you're in the nucleus, you're at the atom. And then you're in the nucleus of the atom. So the cover of the album is inside the nucleus of the atom. It's like 10 to the negative 16th power, about as far in as they can go with the scanning electron microscope. Actually, now they can go farther because they have something called a scanning tunneling microscope that can get down to just single atoms, like single electrons even and stuff. But and then it goes the other way. But what's wild is somewhere between the DNA and the blood cell, I think 10 to the negative 11th power in the human body, it looks just like outer space. That's why the whole thing interested me, because it's like I noticed that because later then it's on the 10 to the 0 is them on a picnic blanket, and then the next one, you know, they're like so many power of 10 away, you know, up in the air, and then the next it's way up and you can just barely see Chicago, I think is where the picture is from. And then another power of 10 away and you can see, you know, the whole Earth. And then another, you see the solar system and in increments. And then you see the galaxy. And then they had to use radio telemetry, you know, to basically plot what things would look like beyond that, because they obviously hadn't been that far out to see it, but things can be seen now with the Hubble telescope and stuff. But anyway, it ends up being 10 to the it's like 10 billion light years away. So the scope of the powers of 10 thing is from 10 billion light years away to inside the nucleus of the atom. And powers of 10 is just whichever slice you want to look at of which power of 10 of magnification, you know. So what I did on the live album is I did that. So it starts at the atom, and then I only took it as far as the Milky Way. On the back cover is the Milky Way, and the whole Milky Way. So it's like from 10 to the positive 13th power or something. And then I only had so many pages. I couldn't do a whole bunch, you know. So I split it up a certain way. But it progresses in a logical order from the nucleus of the atom out to the Milky Way. And each page in the notes, you know, it goes up or down 1 power of 10, you know. So that's the scientific thing that inspired me, and that's what I was going to do on the original cover, but they didn't let me, and so I did it on the live one.
How did you manage to get all the pictures like that?
Well, it's because there is a book or a film that was made by Ray and Charles Eames, who are some important image makers. Kind of like what's the Doc Edgerton, like, you know, the guy that's taken the photograph of like bullets going through apples.
Yeah.
and like when a drop, like a drop of milk or something, every drop that ever drops, and like the whole crown forms, and there's a crown, and it has each one has a round on top of the round, and then those Doc Edgerton was the one that did the studies on that, and then there was another guy named Edward Muybridge that did a series of studies of human body type in motion studies and stuff like that. So Charles and Ray Eames are kind of out of that same group of scientists and stuff, and it was they had a film called Powers of 10 where they demonstrated that, and it was a kind of part real, part animated. And I've never seen it. I only know about it, but I've never seen the movie itself. I want to see it. Just like a 20-minute kind of documentary. Did you get here early at the beginning?
Alright guys, the show's over.
The you know who film scores I like is Randy Edelman.
Ah, yeah.
He's a little bit cheesy, but it's I love it, and I love the Gettysburg. That has the coolest theme. He goes, it goes, That's the chord. Also, he had a good theme for the Dragon, the Bruce Lee movie.
Bruce Lee.
Dragon? Oh, Enter the Dragon. Or Dragon, the Bruce Lee story.
Oh, no, I'm talking about Enter the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon, yeah. The Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, though, starring that other dude, that was made.
That was Lalo Schifrin.
No, this was Randy Edelman on this movie. It's called Dragon, the Bruce Lee story.
Okay.
And it's directed by Rob Cohen, and it has this thing. Let me see. Everything you hear it. I hear it on a lot of other commercials and stuff now. Where's it go? Yeah.
This movie soundtrack, Remember?
I can't do any of this. But the great score is Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet, the full 4 hours, the full text of Shakespeare's Hamlet, starring Kenneth Branagh. And Patrick Doyle did the music. And it's just awesome, awesome music. And Patrick Doyle's theme for Henry V is really amazing. Did you see that one, Henry V? Like Shakespeare is some weird stuff, you know. It's so dense, and the way the language is used is so wild. But the best way to get into it, I think, is to watch those movies. If you watch Kenneth Branagh's Henry V, and he also made Much Ado About Nothing, and the Hamlet, Complete Hamlet, and his are the best movie interpretations. And then you really get into Shakespeare. You know, it's a kind of a thorny thing to just, you know, pick right up, but like those movies really helped me get into it, because then later I started reading this shit, really getting into it. You know, all the language things he does. It's really amazing. Shakespeare is. But it's just, it's so dense and naughty that you need a way in, you know. It's hard to find a way in. And I think a way in is those movies. I think Kenneth Branagh's Henry V, and that's really awesome. This is kind of like the perfect Shakespeare movie.
I just saw a movie with Kenneth Branagh about that explorer who went to like Antarctica.
Yeah.
From England.
Is it?
What's the guy's name?
Shackleton.
Shackleton.
Now Kenneth Branagh also directed a version of Frankenstein.
I saw that.
Where he goes up to the North Pole, like, you know, there's some people are trying to go, and he meets up with him. And he takes the monster up there and everything, and, which is more like the original book. Like none of the other movies had that in it, but and that was a interesting movie. Not entirely successful, I don't think, but there's some great little parts in Kenneth Branagh's Frankenstein. But he's in another one, huh? About Shackleton. Really going to Antarctica?
The new one just came out.
I don't know about that.
I actually saw it on TV, and I heard that the movie had come out on video not too long ago. Well, I never knew about Shackleton.
My friend Henry Kaiser just sent me a video. He's like, his grandfather like owned America. Kaiser Steel and Kaiser Aluminum and Kaiser Permanente Insurance and Kaiser everything. He was one of the big robber barons with Carnegie and J.P. Morgan and Rockefeller. And anyway, he's a musician. That was his grandfather that was a robber baron. But he has access to a trust, and he has a lot of access to foundation grants. So he got a grant to go to Antarctica to record some music. And he went to the South Pole, and he gets a guitar out. It's like fucking 50 below zero or something, you know. And he gets a guitar out and uses the South Pole. There is actually a pole there in the geographic South Pole. And he slides the guitar up and down. Then he takes the guitar on the pole and he goes, and he goes all the way around the pole. And it's like guitar around the world in 5 minutes. It's the only time you could take a guitar around the world in 5 minutes. And then he goes to Shackleton's hut, which was where they. I don't think he ever actually made it. He like kept trying or something, but I think maybe they died or something. But they never.
Shackleton made it back.
He made it back.
He made it back,
but
once.
He never made it actually to the South Pole.
No, he made close to it.
It was Raoul Amundsen, I think, that made it from Norway or something.
But when he went back the second time is when he died.
Oh. And he records in Shackleton's hut some guitar music, made an album. Yeah, a grant from the National Science Foundation did it. It's crazy.
I got one of his CDs called Eternity Blue.
Henry Kaiser?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it pretty avant-garde?
No.
No, it's just...
it was kind of like San Francisco rock.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he does that. He does, like, jam stuff and Grateful Dead type music and jam music. And then he does real bizarre avant-garde stuff. And then he does some, like, collaborations with some people, with Korean musicians sometimes, or with... I think he was pretty seminal in helping Brij Bhushan Kabra, I think. And add, the other things for color.
So, for example, say there are 4 notes in these two you can put into first violin and second violin and viola.
Yeah. And you can even split the violas in there. And then some people split the violins, split the split. Like some weird works will have 4 different parts for the violins to play.
4 different parts.
Yeah, for violin. Someday. There's the best thing to look at really in the world as far as Western symphony orchestration is Ravel. Ravel's piece Daphne and Chloe, Suite Number 2. My God, that's the end all be all of orchestration. You should hear it. It's amazing. There's all these things that he does, like some amazing flute stuff where it's like I can't sing it, but it's some really fast flute runs, and it sounds like one badass motherfucker, but really what it is like 4 different flutes, and each of them are just playing a few notes. So one guy's going, and the next guy goes, and the next guy goes, and they do it, and they split it up, so it's like, and no one person could do it, but the way he's got it split up, it sounds really cool. And his use of of all the different instruments for color in that piece is just unprecedented. And Berlioz Symphony Fantastique. I once took apart March to the Scaffold, the 4th movement of the Berlioz Symphony Fantastique, and because I wanted to hear this part. There's this violin part that's so amazing, but it's kind of buried because of the way he's got it orchestrated, and I really wanted to see what it was. So I just got the score, and I just put in each instrument from the score into the sequencer, and assigned each one to its right part, and so then once I had put it in, I had it in there. Then I could listen to it any way I wanted to. So I could okay, let's take out all these and just listen to the string part by itself, and then I'd have just the strings, and it was amazing. Or I could take the strings out and listen to just the horns. That's a really good way to learn about stuff like that. If you can get, and it was cheap. Like Dover Publishing and other groups put out scores of Western classical music, all kind of scores you can get real cheap. And if you get the book, the scores, and then just take your score and just use. Like for me, it's fairly easy because the Proteus 2 is the unit that has all these orchestral instruments in it. It's got the cor anglais and the oboe and French horn and clarinets and harp and all these other instruments. And then I've got strings and piano. So if you've got, basically good sample of every of the traditional instruments, then just get a score and then just put it into the computer and make your performance there. And then once you've got it in the computer, then you can do anything you want to with it. Then you can speed it up and listen to it, and slow it down and listen to it with, like I said, without the strings, or with only the strings, or without the brass, or with only the brass. And so you get a chance to hear things that you would never hear. Because when you hear the Symphony Fantastique, it's so much stuff, and it's all crammed together, and it's great. But really, Berlioz was kind of a fruitcake, He didn't. It's so much stuff crammed together that it's great. But it would have been better if he could have made it longer and highlighted the different parts, because it's a pity to some of the parts are so cool, but the more stuff you add to it, to where it is the way it is on the symphony recording, you miss it. It becomes part of the texture, which is what it was supposed to do. But there's really, it's almost like some of the parts are so cool, but they're wasted because they just form part of the texture and you can't really hear them. But when you sequence that, you go to the trouble to do that yourself, you can uncover all kinds of really cool secrets of orchestrations and the ways things would work and what they did, and learn from them. I mean, that's the big guys with that. like Mozart, Beethoven, and Bach really didn't do anything that unusual with the orchestration. It's all fairly traditional, but Ravel, and Berlioz, and Rimsky-Korsakov. Bartok didn't do that much unusual orchestration, but he did the great rhythms. Bartok was the only Western composer that I think that understood the concept of like Indian rhythm, because he has lots of he layers the rhythm over the straight beat instead of Stravinsky or something. Stravinsky is like broken bars. It's like a bar of this and a bar of that and a bar of this. Bartok's like straight, but then it's all these patterns over top of it, like Indian music. The only Western composer like that. He's the best at that. Bartok's the rhythm king because he's the only one that like even approached what had been in Indian music for a long time with their rhythms.
Shawn, sorry to interrupt
Yeah.
you. I may not see you again.
Okay.
Have a good dentist visit tomorrow and have a good trip.
Thank you.
See you very soon.
Okay, I'll be back. Thanks for your help, man. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Shawn.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good night, everybody. Good night.
Good night. Sorry. Good trip. Thank you.
The seventh symphony, Beethoven.
7?
Symphony number 7. I like that second movement, that A minor one. He starts off with the cello, double bass, and goes the viola.
I like the third movement,
Huh?
the seventh symphony, the scherzo. That's really great. Yeah, and I like the scherzos of a lot of Beethoven because he was so rhythmic. The third symphony is a brilliant scherzo too.
श्रुति नीचे गाइছে যদি গাই থাকে তাহলে ব্রেক ফোন করছে
That was for Napoleon, right?
Yeah.
It was dedicated
And
to
he
Napoleon.
stretched it off because Napoleon declared himself.
বর্দা মুড়ে আছে
Whatever. That one, I love the Beethoven symphonies. I've been through them a lot. But I love the scherzo of the 3. I love the scherzo and the final movement of 7. And the pastoral is just amazing all around. There's
Amazing stuff.
Yeah, and the third movement is.
Oh, that's the storm sequence.
Yeah. How's it go?
Yeah. It's a heavy, like real like storm brewing.
It's really something. And the 8th is amazing too. I like 8th has the coolest Beethoven moment ever, just about in the last movement because it goes. And then it goes. So what's that figure? But the note that comes in there is such an inharmonic note. It's like the most bizarre left field note. It's going along real soft, real nice, you know. And then just all of a sudden it's just a and nobody could have pulled that off with Beethoven. That's so like it's crazy, really awesome. And then the ninth is everything, man. The ninth is just every damn great thing, man. Those melodies,
You were
God.
stone deaf when you did that.
Like do it, sing it. The da, in that key, okay? Da, 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 da. Just sing that one. And let me do the one part.
I know.
4.
3,
4. Then it comes. And I like it too when it breaks down. It doesn't.
Chorus is here. When he's through, just tell him to go.
Oh, yeah.